go. I brought the dogs. That might have been a mistake. Oh well. I've smelled elk a couple times. I'm up. I'm in where I want to be. There's a good chance there's elk in here. I just have to find them. Those are pretty fresh tracks. You know, within a couple days probably. But this time of year, they're not gonna, unless they get pushed, they're not gonna move too far. This is like edge habitat where you have more open sage areas meeting timber. In the wintertime, they can get out of that timber and feed in the open, eat the grass that grows up in the sage. Heel. Bringing the dogs, definitely making this tougher. Roxy, heel. But I'd be willing to bet they're not very far. Well, things look quite a bit different today. I ended up not getting into any elk. And 3 or 4 days later, we got a little bit of a snowstorm. It's beautiful, but definitely more challenging. A little bit of snow is a good thing. We got a little bit too much of a good thing. So I'm taking a little bit of a gamble. Going into the same spot, hoping that maybe the elk were up pretty high with the lack of snow. And that maybe they moved down into this, because it's pretty optimistic bringing the sled, but there's no way I was gonna make 2 trips if I got one. So it's all uphill on the way in, downhill on the way out. I figure if I get one, I'll load most of it in the sled and pull it downhill, or have it pull me downhill. Hell, maybe I'll just ride the sled. I've been following these tracks the whole way up. They've just been going up the trail that I'm on, kind of working it off it, and I've gotten up pretty high. I found where that elk is bedded down. At some point this morning, today, it looks like there's another set of smaller tracks, maybe 2, it's hard to tell if you're going back and forth, and maybe some more tracks over here. So man, I mean, I'm close now. I don't know where they're at. They could be over the ridge, they could be in the pines, they could be along this ridge opens along the top. I'm gonna drop my sled here because it's making kind of a bit of noise, and I'm gonna start getting sneaky. Well, holy crap. There was probably 20 or so, I don't know. And I am really, really, really far from my truck. I popped over, I was coming up because I saw tracks across the hillside. On the other side, tracks cutting across through this saddle. And I was like, man, it snowed 2 days ago, so those are either from yesterday or today. And I was getting up towards that saddle and it kind of caught me by surprise. You come over the top faster than you think. And I was walking and I looked to my left and there was a cow looking at me. And I just instantly dropped. Whew. Man, oh man. It's going to be a long night. When I'm doing the front shoulder, I like to skin up the neck at the same time. And I'll actually leave that neck meat attached to the shoulder. And I do that for a couple reasons. The main reason is when I'm back home butchering, it's all one big piece. So I bring it in, I bring in the quarter, I have that whole thing. So I have the brisket, the quarter, the slab of meat off the side of the ribs, and the neck. And I found that the less cuts you have when you're processing your elk, it's the less trimming you have to do. So the more, or the fewer pieces you have, the bigger pieces you have, the better it's gonna be when you get it to the kitchen. It's maybe a tiny bit more work. It's about the same, I feel like, in the field, but it's gonna pay big dividends when you get back home and you're butchering it in your kitchen. So now that I have that neck meat pulled back, I'll take the front leg off. And I'll start down here at the brisket. Well, hour and 20 minutes later, and not a whole lot left. And man, just in time for the sunset. Check this out. I'm gonna get loaded. I'm gonna use her skin as a sled till I get to my sled, and then I'll use my sled the rest of the way down. But I got 3/4 in that hide, and then I got the rest in my pack. Yeah, the 4/4 in my pack. This is the hardest part. I have to go about a mile across this ridge to where my sled is, and then once I get to my sled, it's all downhill back to the truck. So, all right, made it to my sled. Got everything ready to rock there. That was a tough mile. The hardest mile I've ever packed something. Once I hit the downhill though, man, just it was pretty actually almost fun. But now I'm gonna head straight down to the truck. All but done.